The New Orleans Saints travel to Seattle to face the Seahawks in a divisional round playoff matchup. The winner of this game, of course, advances to the NFC Championship game. Seattle is an 8-point favorite on BETDAQ, 47.5 the total here. At first glance, you might say 8 points, a lot of points to be given a Saints team that has been excellent this season. The Saints rank 4th in the NFL in both total offense and total defense. Last week they went on the road and beat a red-hot Philadelphia Eagles team, and here they are getting more than a touchdown. But if you saw these two teams play in Week 13, you might be saying that 8 points is not enough. Seattle totally dominated that game, winning 34-7. They held the Saints to just 188 total yards. And what has changed since then? Really, not much. As a matter of fact, the Seahawks offense should be even better now that Percy Harvin is back in the fold. Harvin's only played one game this season. He's been dealing with a hip injury, but when he's healthy, and Pete Carroll has said he's fully healthy, he's one of the best offensive players in the entire NFL. Last season when he was with Minnesota, he led the league in total yards from scrimmage until he was hurt. Harvin can do it all, an explosive guy, and he'll be a real weapon for this Seattle offense, again, if he's healthy. Now, the Seattle offense needs all the weapons they can get right now. They have not been playing well lately. They're only averaging 19.2 points per game in their last 4 games. And as we mentioned, New Orleans, top 5 in the league in total defense. They're also top 5 in the league in points allowed. So the Seahawks will take anything Harvin can give them in this game. But let's face it, when we talk about the Seahawks, we got to start with defense. They have the best defense in the NFL. They lead the league in yards allowed, points allowed, passing defense. We mentioned they smothered this New Orleans offense back in Week 13. And they're going to get an assist from the weather on Saturday because 100% chance of rain expected in this game. Torrential downpours forecasted. Now look, I know the Saints have been balanced on offense this season, but we know they like to pass the ball. Drew Brees, that plethora of weapons he has at his disposal, they like to spread it out, throw it around a little bit. And no doubt that is going to be tough against the Seattle secondary in driving rain. So it's hard to imagine the Saints scoring more than, say, 20 to 24 points in this game. But that might be enough to stay within 8. I'm not convinced that the Seattle offense is going to have a whole lot of success here either. As a matter of fact, under 47.5, a bet I'm really looking at closely here. Look, you'd say that a rainstorm would favor the Seahawks, no doubt about it. And yeah, rain usually favors a team that can run the ball better and play defense better. But look at New Orleans' performance last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles led the NFL in rushing this season. They had LaShawn McCoy, who led the NFL in rushing himself. The Saints held McCoy to just 77 yards on 20 carries, while they themselves rushed for 185 yards. So based on their performance last week, the Saints look like a team that is ideally suited to play in bad weather. And again, I'm not sure they're going to be rushing for 185 yards against the Seattle defense, but now, I'm not sure Seattle's going to have a whole lot of offensive success against New Orleans either. New Orleans played their worst defensive game of the year back in Week 13. I think they're going to play much, much better in this game for that reason. I think the Saints are going to keep this one close, maybe closer than 8 points anyway. Now, it's going to be really tough for them to come away with a win here. Seattle is so good at home. I believe the Seahawks are the best team in the NFL right now. But 8 points feels like a big number. This is not my favorite bet of the weekend. It wouldn't shock me if Seattle won this game big, but I expect New Orleans to hang around, stay within 8, like the Saints here, also like under 47.5.